Okay, we've all been there, sitting through a presentation that's just slide after slide of bullet points. Today, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna dive into how you can take your slides from these boring walls of text and turn them into really engaging visual stories.
You've felt this, right? That feeling of staring at a slide jam-packed with text, trying to listen to what the person is saying and just retaining none of it. This feeling of presentation burnout, it's exactly what we're here to talk about. It's a huge sign that the old way of doing things just isn't cutting it anymore.
But imagine for a second, what if you could deliver your message with so much clarity, so much impact, that your audience doesn't just get it, they're actually inspired by it. That's the real power of using visuals, and in the next few minutes, we are going to unlock it together.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll talk about why those bullet points just don't work. Then, we'll build out your visual toolkit. After that, we'll get into strategy, how to find the right visuals and how to actually use them. And finally, we'll put it all together to kickstart your visual transformation. All right, so let's start by really digging into the core issue. Why do so many presentations, even the ones with really important information, just completely fail to connect?
It really all comes down to one thing: cognitive load. See, when you force your audience to read a ton of text on a screen while also trying to listen to you speak, you're literally overloading their brain. It's like a tug-of-war for their attention, and guess what? Comprehension is always the first thing to go. They either stop listening and start reading, or worse, they just tune out completely. Okay, now that we know what the problem is, let's talk about the solution. It is time to build your visual toolkit. These are the building blocks that are going to replace those walls of text for good. And we're going to focus on 4 super powerful tools that, you probably already have access to: images, shapes, icons, and smart art. Each one has a really specific job to do when it comes to making your message clearer and way more memorable. First up, we've got images. A great photo or illustration can do something that paragraphs of text could never do. It can create an instant emotional connection, it can set the scene, and it can communicate a really complex idea in a split second. So you gotta think of an image not just as filler, but as your most powerful storyteller. Next, let's talk about basic shapes. And seriously, don't underestimate these. A simple circle can make a key number pop, an arrow can guide your viewer's eye exactly where you want it to go, and a few rectangles can organize related ideas. Hey, here's a quick tip. Try using one consistent color for things like arrows to guide your audience's eye across all your slides. It makes a huge difference. Then we have icons. I want you to think of these as visual shortcuts. You see a light bulb icon, you immediately think idea. You see a check mark, you know something is done. It's instant. And for a really clean professional look, try to stick to one style. Either all outlined icons or all filled in ones. That little bit of consistency is everything. And finally, smart art. Honestly, this is your secret weapon for turning a mind-numbing bulleted list into a sharp, clear diagram. Whether you need to show a process, a hierarchy, or a cycle, smart art does the heavy lifting of structuring that information visually for you. Okay, so you know what tools you want to use, but where do you actually find them? And maybe even more important, how do you pick the right ones? Sourcing your visuals with a real strategy is absolutely critical. This right here is such a crucial distinction. Over on the left, you see everything you want to avoid: pixelated images, cheesy, generic stock photos, and styles that just clash. And on the right, that's our goal: sharp, authentic visuals that are totally relevant and match your brand. Here's a pro tip. When you're searching for images, try looking for ones with negative space. Those nice empty areas? That's where you can place your text so it doesn't feel all cluttered. It's the difference between connecting and just distracting. All right, let's get to the most important part: actually using them. Having a great visual is one thing, but using it to communicate your idea effectively, that's a whole other level. We're talking about shifting our mindset from just decorating our slides to actually illustrating ideas. So here's the super simple 3-step workflow. First, for every single slide, ask yourself, what is the one main idea I need to get across? Second, pick a visual, an image, an icon, whatever, that directly supports that one idea. And finally, integrate it. Make it part of the message, not just something sitting awkwardly next to it.
This quote right here, this is the whole philosophy. Every single visual element needs to have a job. You have to ask yourself, why is this here? If the answer is just, well, to fill up some space, then it's just decoration, it's noise. But if it clarifies something or emphasizes a point, then you know it's a powerful communication tool.
So, let's bring this all together. When you start to adopt this approach, you're not just making prettier slides. You are fundamentally changing how you communicate. You're becoming a true visual communicator.
And this is the ultimate payoff. When you start to effectively combine your words with powerful, relevant visuals, you stop just dumping facts on people. You start to weave a narrative. Your audience can follow along, they can see the connections, and they'll actually remember your key message long after your presentation is over.
So I'm going to leave you with this thought. The next time you open up a new, blank presentation, don't just see it as a bunch of slides you have to fill with text. See it as a blank canvas, a real opportunity to tell a compelling story. You have the tools now. So what story are you going to create?